Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to Adventures Calling Us. It feels good to be back in this seat. This is a channel where you're going to find some latest breaking news when it comes to cruises, theme parks, travel, adventure, you name it. We're trying to bring you a story a day that's going to make you think, make you wonder, and look, just entertain you for the next few minutes. And boy, today do we have a doozy for you. We're talking Royal Caribbean, lawsuits, jet skis, and a private island day, a perfect day at CocoCay. Well, that wasn't so perfect. So buckle up because this story's got more twists and turns than a Royal Caribbean water slide on Icon of the Seas. And let's go. So imagine this. You're living your best life on Royal Caribbean. You hit your fancy private island, a perfect day at CocoCay, and you decide, hey, let's go hop on one of those jet skis and tear up the waves like we're in the Fast and Furious. Well, for one passenger, it went from Fast and Furious to Fast and lawsuits. Let's jump into this story and give you all the details. A Royal Caribbean passenger suing after a CocoCay incident left them injured. And if we know anything about lawsuits, we know that lawyers love cruises just as much as we do. So let's jump right in. So let's jump into the details of this story. Jessica Haro was on board the Icon of the Seas, and if you know, the Icon of the Seas is currently the world's largest cruise ship at sea. They were coming out of Miami, and they were docking at Perfect Day at CocoCay. If you've ever been to Perfect Day at CocoCay, we absolutely love this island. It is a perfect place to just relax. There's a bunch of activities. Our kids love the thrill water park. It's an amazing place to go. Part of being at Perfect Day at CocoCay, you can also rent jet skis. You can take guided tours of the island. You can swim with the pigs. You can do all kinds of things. Now, we personally have never done the jet ski tour. However, we've actually looked at that in the past, and so Jessica Haro, she did, go on these jet skis, and she did go for a guided tour. Now, she joined 12 others on this tour, and this tour is deemed safe for beginners. So for those people who have never been on a jet ski before, this tour is actually deemed safe for those to be able to go on there. They're supposed to provide you with the safety instructions. I mean, if you've ever been on a jet ski, they're pretty simple, right? You get on, you start them up, and really there's a thumb throttle that you really just push down, and the further you push it down, the faster you go. The more you let up, the slower you go, and it kind of they're pretty easy to steer and things like that. So pretty easy to control, even if you've never been on one. And this tour is perceived as just that, for beginners, being able to just go around and tour the island of CocoCay. Now, during this tour, Haro is saying that a Royal Caribbean guide actually crashed into her at a very high speed, leaving her with some spinal fractures and some future medical issues, some which are going to leave her permanently damaged. And look, obviously the details of this are still coming out, but look, if you're not using jet skis safely, yes, they can injure you, and they can injure you pretty badly. This is what she is claiming as part of her lawsuit, is that the instructor hit her at a pretty high rate of speed, giving her some spinal fractures and some other medical issues. Now, the lawsuit was just filed February 10th in Miami, and they are seeking more than $5 million in damages from Royal Caribbean for this incident. Basically, what the lawsuit is also stating is that the tour guide recklessly drove over the cruise passenger's jet ski, kind of basically running her over. They do admit that she had very little experience, obviously, but the tour guide, again, was marketed towards those who were novices or beginners, and they're saying that this instructor basically just ran right into her, ran over the top of her jet ski, injuring her in that accident. Now, being in the industry I'm in, we deal with a lot of contracts, and we deal with a lot of legal terms and legal contracts and how they hold up and how they don't. And look, one thing that this contract states when you sign up for it is you're going to hold Royal Caribbean and anybody else not liable for anything that might occur. Now, look, I don't know how this is going to hold up in a court of law. We'll have to wait and see. But one thing I can guarantee you is anybody that's signing a waiver, if you're ever signing a waiver for anything, right, you can bet your bottom dollar that those contracts are written by the attorneys of those individuals who are providing you that contract to sign, and it's typically written in the best interest of that client, i.e. Royal Caribbean had their attorneys draw this contract up for this activity, and I guarantee you that this contract is drawn up in a way to maximize the protection for Royal Caribbean in case of any incidents or accidents that might occur, right? They're not going to draw these contracts up in the favor of the passengers, unfortunately, in case something happens. They're going to do it to protect themselves as a company, as does most companies, right? When we draw up contracts for our company, we're writing them, right, to protect us as a company, right? We're not writing them so that in the case of a lawsuit or anything like that, that we're going to be automatically found guilty or liable, right? We want to protect ourselves as much as possible, and I'm sure Royal Caribbean did the same. And this will all have to play out in a court of law, of course, but it's just a word of caution. No matter what you're signing up for, obviously make sure you're trying to read what what you're signing up for. Two, we're just going to let the details play out, right? Because I'm sure Royal Caribbean is going to defend this heavily. And sometimes in big cases like this, especially if a company feels like they might be at fault, sometimes it's cheaper for them to just settle out of court. You may not even hear about it, but we'll have to wait and see on that front. Now, the problem for Royal Caribbean comes from in 2013, this same incident occurred at Perfect Day of CocoCay with a passenger on board the Monarch of the Seas. Similar incident, they were traveling slower. They claimed that they were hit by a faster jet ski in that incident as well. Now, during this incident in 2013, Royal Caribbean tried to lean heavily on that waiver, and limiting its liability. However, the U.S. District Judge said that contract was void because of the limiting liability that it did hold. Now, I don't know. Obviously, these are unrelated incidents, and I'm sure they've updated the contract from 2013 to 2024-25, but we'll just have to wait and see how the courts play this out. So look, these two lawsuits are unrelated. CocoCay sees about 2.5 million guests per year, and it's an amazing spot to go if you are ever on a Royal Caribbean ship. We highly encourage everybody to try to get there at least one time and experience it. And these jet skis, these jet ski incidents are uncommon. They're not an every stop kind of incident where you're always getting into these jet ski accidents, even though there is 2.5 million people that go there a year. They're very uncommon, so they're very safe in general. It's no different than driving in your car, right? We get in our cars every day and we go somewhere, sometimes multiple times a day, and there's accidents on the road every day, but your odds of getting into that accident, typically are much, much lower, and some people go a whole lifetime without an accident. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. That is the story for today. I want to kind of wrap this up here, but let me know your thoughts down below. Should Royal be held liable for this? Obviously, you don't have all the details in the case yet, but that's all we can bring you right now. And so as this case is updated, maybe we'll bring you some more updates. But looks like Royal Caribbean is going to have to fight an uphill battle here when it comes to the lawsuit. And I'm sure their lawyers are, this is a familiar territory for them. I'm sure people are too happy these days. But look, CocoCay is an awesome spot. Go check it out. And look, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Go enjoy it, and we'll see you here tomorrow. Peace.